I'm Leslie.
And I'm Shelly.
And we're
Sisters in Ebert.
Welcome back for another Movie Monday.
Mermaids!
Mermaids, 1990. Should we chalk this year up to just thinking about what we have coming? Movies we had no business of watching as young as we did.
Yes. Movies that were on TV in an afternoon that we probably, some stuff was cut out that rightfully so because, it was not age appropriate.
No, it was not.
Didn't understand any of these themes.
No.
So as I was watching
As I was a child, I did not,
I went back and watched it like, whoa.
Yeah.
There's a lot here to
Yeah,
unpack.
there's a lot to unpack. This is starring Cher and Winona Ryder, Christina Ricci, a very young
her
Christina.
film debut.
Was this her film debut?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Bob Hoskins and Michael Scheffling, who Jake Ryan from 16 Candles.
Yes!
And I thought that was the only one he ever did because I know he kind of retired from acting.
I didn't even place it that
Yes,
was him.
as soon as I saw him, I'm like,
But
is
you're
that
right.
Jake Ryan? I looked it up right away, and it was, yeah. So he's like a carpenter now or something. Like, he just has his own
He's
life.
got that way about him.
Yeah, he does.
This film especially seems it.
Mm-hmm. So we opened to a swim meet for kids. This was not a summer movies movie, first of all.
No.
This was not a dad-approved movie.
No. This is mom saying, hey, let's watch this.
Let's
I
watch
like
this
Cher.
chick flick on this afternoon.
I feel
Yeah.
like mom looked like Cher.
I
and
felt
that's
like mom
why.
looked like Cher, too. Like when we were young. Like when she was young.
Yeah, hair teased
Yep,
up.
yep.
Yeah, nice cheekbones.
Yeah, she was always thin like Cher.
Mhm.
We opened to a swim meet for kids, and the sister Kate is the younger sister Kate is swimming since she was in her playpen years. Charlotte is Winona Ryder. The older sister Kate is Christina Ricci, and Charlotte adores Kate and wanted to pick her name.
Mhm.
Charlotte calls her mother Mrs. Flax.
Yes.
And Kate is adored by all of them. Like, she is just the golden child.
Yeah, little angel baby.
You
that
can
they
tell
all love.
Charlotte and Mrs. Flax kind of butt heads, but Kate is like
She
the
gets
neutral,
along,
yeah.
yes. But she's still young.
she's
so
very young. Yeah, she's like, what, like 8?
Yes, whereas Charlotte's
like
teenager.
16, 15, something like there. The year is 1963, and the girls are watching nuns on TV singing that French song from AHS season 2. That I don't remember the name of it, but they use that a lot in Asylum, American Horror Story. They would play it a lot. Yeah,
I don't remember that at all.
You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember the song.
They did, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like this French song that the nuns would always sing, and the nuns ran the asylum. Yeah,
so that makes sense. This cat.
I know. I'm sorry.
Come in.
Hi, Snickers.
Goodbye.
We have a new star. A star is born.
The star is born. She's jealous of Zorro's attention.
Yes. Mrs. Flax doesn't believe in tradition, but Charlotte longs to be Catholic despite being Jewish.
Yes.
For some reason.
Yes.
She's like, Charlotte, we're Jewish. Stop. Like, her mother only makes fun finger food and hors d'oeuvres for dinners and stuff. She doesn't cook,
I loved this. As
I
a
did
kid.
too. I thought this was so
cool.
I always wanted to eat what was
And I didn't realize that they hated it so much.
Yeah, I know. Like, why?
It's like
You use
marshmallows on a skewer.
and
I'd eat
hot
that for
dog,
dinner.
Like, pieces cut
But
up.
I could see how it would get old.
I guess,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, especially like in the 60s when all your friends' moms are housewives.
Like, here's a meatloaf,
yeah.
and I'm having maraschino cherry on a stick.
The mom goes on a date with her boss, Fred, which means they'll be moving soon, and Fred is married. Mrs. Flax moves to random place she points to on a map.
And she just, boop, let's move whenever she breaks up with somebody.
Yep, and goes to Massachusetts now. Charlotte wants everything the same and hates change and wears her absent father's shoes. That was like the only thing she has of him. Doesn't even know what he looks like. Has a picture of like his legs with these shoes on it, and that was it.
Yes.
Which I'm surprised Mrs. Flax didn't get rid of these shoes. But
I guess she couldn't rip them away from Charlotte. Hi.
Charlotte lacks direction. 15 years old, and she is taught to drive early but goes very slow.
And Mrs. Flax is like, come on, let's go.
There's a line of cars behind her, like honking, and Joe Peretti is Jake Ryan, Michael Shuffling. He works at the convent up the hill behind their new house, which is gorgeous. I love their new house.
So
oh my
cool.
gosh.
Right on a lake.
Right on the water, and it's like this little Cape Cod, and it's just adorable.
It's a little rundown, but
it could easily be fixed up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Needs some paint, and that's about it, you know. Stops by to see if any help is needed, and Charlotte is smitten and believes this is a sign. Joe is 26, and she prayed earlier not to fall in love so much, but
she's 15.
Yeah,
and he's 26. Let's keep that in mind as this movie goes on.
I forgot that detail. Well, I don't think I registered that detail.
I did not register
because Winona Ryder always looks older.
She does. Yes.
Aside from Beetlejuice, like she always looks older.
And he doesn't look very old.
Well, he just played Jake Ryan. I mean, come on now.
Yeah. A youth.
Yes. Dude,
right.
Get it together. Charlotte goes to see the convent and watches the nuns playing and watches Joe. Mrs. Flax is slacking at her new job and goes back to school shopping on her lunch break. Because like her job, like she's already like started to be interested in her boss, but he has a fiance and she's like, I'm over this already.
So she's like secretary, like typing like this.
The nuns at the shoe store when the Flax family arrives, and the shoe store clerk is flirty with Mrs. Flax, and that's Bob Hoskins.
He's adorable.
Yeah, he is. Joe also drives Charlotte's school bus, which makes her like lose her mind.
It is such an odd scenario. I work as the gardener at the convent and the school bus driver.
It's a small town.
It is. Everybody knows Joe.
Yeah.
Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah. The whole town just chats about each other behind their backs.
Yeah.
Charlotte's hiding in the bathroom stall as a loose girl, Mary Sinakis, chats about boys, and Charlotte is escorted to class by a teacher. Joe starts chatting with her on the bus and reveals that he was born in the house that she lives in and that Charlotte's room was his with the Red Sox carved on the door. Like he carved Red Sox.
They're in New England.
So. Massachusetts, yeah. Charlotte is trying to hang out with Joe and sets up a date for Sunday after lying that Kate was afraid of water.
It's so awkward.
Yeah.
This whole...
He's not biting. Like,
she's like trying desperately to get him to invite her to go fishing.
Because he says he likes to go fishing. Yeah,
and she's basically inviting herself.
And he's like, well, you can bring your sister. And she's like, oh, no, Kate's scared of water.
Scared of water.
This
champion
girl is
swimmer.
obsessed with water. Who's like aiming for the Olympics.
Yes.
Rumor is that Joe got a girl pregnant in high school around town and that she was sent away and that, you know, there's always been like a mystery about him ever since. Mrs. Flax attends the parent-teacher conferences and sees the shoe salesman there as promised, Lou, and leaves Charlotte's class to go flirt and drink punch. But why was Lou at these? He doesn't have a child.
He did explain it briefly, and now I forget what it was. Because I was thinking the same thing, and he said why he was
Isn't he, like, connected to the school in some way? Like, he does something for, like...
He's, like, school board or something. Like, he's involved in the school.
Mary wants to be like Mrs. Flax when she grows up, and Charlotte assures her she already is. I want to be like, you see that woman over there? That's my mother. When I grow up, I want to be just like yours. And she's like, Mary, you already are.
And they bond over it. Like, okay, I guess she's in with this crowd now. Yeah.
Charlotte makes
hiding in the bathroom one day and joking around the next.
Charlotte makes big sandwiches for Joe, but Mrs. Flax ruins them with a cookie cutter.
Yeah, she's like making fun and just
puts like a star.
Charlotte's so mad at her.
She walked away for like 2 seconds to get like paper or something to wrap them, and Kate walks into the room with a pumpkin on her head for some reason.
Yeah, that was confusing.
And is never addressed again.
Nope. There's a lot of these little things that Kate's just kind of doing in the back.
Lou is enthralled with Rachel, that's Mrs. Flax, and her finger foods. And Rachel never caught Kate's father's name, but was headed to the Olympics for swimming. So that's where she gets it from. Lou and Rachel stay home after breakfast. And because she's having a date with Lou at the same time that Charlotte's going fishing.
Yeah, I forget where Kate went. Kate went somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's like, you just moved here. You're just sending her off. I mean, it's the 60s.
I guess, but still.
Trusting.
Charlotte conflicted, wanting to be virtuous nun, but also having impure thoughts. Mrs. Flax says that she'll never get old. Like when,
It's coming for you.
yeah. Which, I mean, Cher is not...
If I could turn back time.
It seems to be a common theme with Cher. So.
Yeah, that's true. This is just her.
Charlotte comes home at dusk, and Kate is practicing holding her breath in the bathtub.
And they're just, I hate when she does that.
Yeah.
Like, they're just talking, like, having conversation around her doing that.
Yeah. Charlotte's having many impure thoughts about Joe and
So
tries
many.
to stop them by not riding the school bus. Kate's coach thinks she has Olympic potential as she's, on the swim team.
Mm-hmm.
And the Flaxes stay at Lou's, and Rachel poses for Lou to paint her. And Charlotte feels like the parent, because her mom ain't the parent.
Yeah, she went and, like, tucked in her mom when she fell asleep on the couch. Yeah.
Lou is surprised that no one eats at the table together. And then JFK is shot, and the teacher comes in sobbing.
I don't remember this part at all. They made a big deal out of it in the movie, and I didn't remember any of it. Maybe they cut it out on TV.
Maybe. The whole town stops and is watching the news. It's just, Charlotte wishes that she could speak to her father and feels no adults are left on the planet since this assassination. Because all the adults are, like, much like if you've lived through 9/11, all the adults just watching,
we're just, like, crumbling,
and
all the kids are like, what do we do?
We're still here. And we don't really understand it.
Yeah, we don't get it. What's the big deal?
Jake rings the convent bell, and Charlotte goes to him. They hug and kiss. She kisses to comfort Joe, and Charlotte runs off as the saint statues stare at them.
Yeah, she's, like, making eyes at all these statues, which they were creepy.
And feels that she has turned into a fallen woman. And worries she's pregnant from kissing.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte takes...
Immaculate conception is what went through her head.
Yeah, because the saints, I guess.
Yeah.
Charlotte takes the car and leaves for Connecticut and stops at a random house and makes herself at home really awkwardly and weirdly. And I remember this part, but I don't remember.
Yeah, she's like in psychosis here. Like, she's having a breakdown.
Weird, yeah.
Like, trying to make her family seem like a great family. Like, she's making up all this stuff about how
her
great
dad,
her mom and dad are.
just makes all the, does all these stories and always hangs out with the kids and blah, 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 blah.
Mom makes the best food.
Yeah. She sits down to a pancake breakfast with this nuclear family that she crashes in on. And then the family calls Lou and Rachel to come get her, and Lou arrives to take her home and tow the car. Mm-hmm. Rachel still doesn't know that Charlotte thinks she's pregnant by immaculate conception. And Rachel never deals with her problems, only moves. Like, they never, address anything, and she just runs away from them all the time. Joe comes to talk to her and heard that she ran away and she asked about his past girlfriend. And he said, he explained that the girlfriend just moved and was never pregnant, but he does want children someday, a baby someday. Charlotte goes to the OBGYN for an exam and revealed that this is impossible as she's still a virgin.
Did you ever talk to your
mother
about
where babies come from? And she's like, oh, yeah. It's like, well...
Oh, all the time.
I don't know why you would think that.
Yes.
You're pregnant then.
And she just leaves like, oh, okay.
Lou is watching the girls for Rachel while she has a work trip. And Lou invites her to the New Year's Eve costume party.
My favorite part.
Yes. The girls and Lou paint the guest room as Kate wants to feel like what sleeping under the ocean is like. So they this was our favorite. That was my favorite part.
Yes.
They
Lou is so good to them.
He's so good to them.
And they are the dad they needed.
Yeah,
he is the dad they needed.
Yeah. And so they paint this room. He goes to all this trouble just on an afternoon, just to have an activity to do with them. Mm-hmm. And it was my favorite part. And as Rachel observes family behavior, they're all getting along great. Charlotte cooked this big meal.
Yes, she's looking like, who are these strangers?
Yeah, and Rachel's like, where did you learn how to do this? And she's like, home ec,
Yeah. And you can see her ready to run. She is I'm not comfortable with this. This is too much.
Too close to, everybody's too comfortable.
I'm not in charge here.
Yeah, yeah. Rachel's unhappy that Kate is attached to Lou, and Lou calls her out for not trusting or showing affection and goes to sleep in the attic because he's like, no, you're being ridiculous. You're not right in this. Because she's accuses him of using her kids to get to her. And he's like, no, that's not it at all.
No, you're just not letting me in.
Yep, exactly. Next, Rachel is getting dressed as a mermaid for the New Year's Eve party as the girls stay home. And the tail is stuck in the car door.
Yes.
As she drives away.
This whole I feel like
it jumped around a lot.
It did. And I feel like their interactions as a family are so odd because sometimes they're so close. Like this mermaid seems like they're getting her dressed and Charlotte's like, I love this, try this. And they're all doing different
because
things.
it's all about Rachel.
I guess.
They're making Rachel up. Like when it's about her, she can accept it.
I guess.
But when it's about the kids or
but like
yeah,
it's
like
just
she has to be in charge.
Like Charlotte's fine leaning in.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's like she wants that, but then other times they're so butting heads, and it's so
think
hot and cold.
Maybe it's because Charlotte knows that she's been burned so many times by her mom. She can't get comfortable in this because she knows she's gonna have to be the parent again the next day. You know, like 5 minutes later, it's gonna flip. The switch is. It is
kind of like dressing up your little girl to send them out for the night. So,
exactly. Yeah. So Lou is also at the party as Romeo, Cyrano, or a pirate something. I couldn't figure out what he was.
He's piratey.
Yeah.
Perfect for his future as Mr. Smee and Hook.
That's right. Joe is also at the costume party, and Lou is planning a trip to the Baseball Hall of Fame. He wants 3 things in life: to touch Lou Gehrig's glove, to go to Florida for spring training, and to take Rachel on both trips. I know, he's very sweet.
He is too good for her.
He is too good for her. Lou wants a relationship to move forward, and Rachel fears commitment. And Lou is still technically married. The conversation occurs at midnight as 1964 hits, and Lou kisses Rachel and declines going home with her. And it was, she was like, well, so far 1964 is a real drag. You know, like, it was like 2 minutes. And then Rachel leaves to go home. Her car is dead and Joe drives her home. Rachel kisses Joe Happy New Year, and Charlotte runs out screaming and yelling.
How could you?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
And Joe is just there like,
oh, what? No.
Yeah.
But, like, was her car really dead? Or was that a ruse?
No, she was trying. Yeah, she was there trying to turn it over. And she looks up and sees him.
She just sees him as this little boy toy. Like, you get this, like it's not like she's thinking, like, oh, I'm going to move in on him. It's just like, I'm going to just do this with whoever I want to.
Because, like, the minute he showed up when they met him, and she was, like, flirty with him and, like, oh, you can come hang up this porch swing.
Yeah. So Charlotte confronts Joe for kissing Rachel, and he drives away silently, like not even a word. It's like when Henry comes home. Where were you, Henry? And just walks away. Like that's how Joe was. He just drives away.
Yeah, just needs to stew on it a little bit.
Yeah. Charlotte is dressing up like Rachel and tells Kate she's in love with Joe, drinking wine. Also gives Kate wine, who starts chugging it.
Yes, behind Charlotte's back. Yeah. She's just chugging this wine.
Okay.
So she's drunk.
Yeah. She's a little girl.
They're both drunk at this point, yes.
Both sit on the porch and on the swing and tells Kate the story of her birth again. That's Kate's favorite story.
She's got the hiccups.
Yeah, Kate hiccups. And Charlotte decides to show Kate the convent as the bells toll, and Kate stumbles wrapped in a blanket as this is in the middle of the night. Like they're just walking up to this convent to see.
And it's January.
And like it's on the water. Like it's not a great look for anybody. Charlotte wants to go up in the tower, and Kate stays below to collect rocks. As Charlotte arrives up in the tower, Joe is there, and events transpire physically.
Oh, yes, they do. Which,
for real. Like, they hadn't spoken since, and I don't know how long ago after that this was.
I feel like it wasn't that long.
No, I do too. Kate is walking across the rocks in this water and trips and falls.
And I remember this part so clearly from childhood.
Too. This is the part that I remember the most.
Traumatizing. Yes.
Kate screams, but Joe and Charlotte don't hear it, and the nuns call for Joe. They find Kate in the water and have Joe call an ambulance. Rachel arrives to the hospital and sees messy Charlotte and Joe and is very angry and goes to Kate. Yeah,
all over.
And her hair's like all messed up. And, Joe takes Charlotte home where she cleans herself up in the house and changes clothes. Charlotte sits on the porch swing with Joe, and Kate's in the hospital, and Rachel tells Kate the story of her birth tearfully in the hospital when she's still in a coma.
Yeah, she's in a coma.
And Lou arrives to the hospital, calls Charlotte to let her know that Kate will be okay. Like, apparently we just know this, and like somebody told him, and and then Charlotte's happy and tells Joe and says that he looks different, and he tells her that she looks beautiful, and he leaves. Rachel comes home to get Kate clothes and tells Charlotte to stay away from her. Like, if you know what's good for you, you will stay far, far away from me.
Charlotte does not listen.
No.
She's just following her around the house like a puppy dog. She feels so bad.
Yeah.
And Rachel just can't deal with it. She's like, I don't want to talk to you.
She's so
Get
mad.
away from me.
Rachel finally confronts Charlotte for being irresponsible and wants Rachel to acknowledge both of their mistakes that they do. Like, Rachel is
the little back and forth between them, and she's like, "What do you want to be, the town whore?"
Oh yeah,
she's
no,
like,
Mom,
the
town's already got one,
and she slaps her.
I forgot about that.
It's like, oh,
yeah. So Rachel is ready to move, but Charlotte wants to stay, and they continue fighting, but finally have an adult conversation about her father. Mm-hmm. They don't have any pictures, as the wedding shots didn't come out, and they rapid fire talk about like all these different topics related to Charlotte's dad.
Yeah, and like all of a sudden they're like, okay, let's lay it all out now in this 5 seconds.
Yeah, on the porch swing, right? Was it on the porch swing? I think it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Charlotte asks to stay for a year. Rachel agrees. And then Charlotte is okay with the gossip about her at school. Like, she's got a reputation now. Because that's what Rachel was saying. Like, when they got to the hospital and saw Charlotte like that at the hospital, like, the whole town knew what she was doing. The whole town's talking about it now. Lou and Rachel and the girls go to the Baseball Hall of Fame 3 months later, as Lou and Rachel are still dating.
I love it.
Yeah.
This part. And he's just like looking around and they're all like, whatever, let's get going.
And he's like, they get to Lou Gehrig's glove and he just touched it. Oh, he touched it.
Okay, let's
go.
Yeah. And he's just there.
Yeah. Rachel is glad to be with Lou, which I bet you can't touch that glove now.
No, I don't think so.
Rachel is glad to be with Lou, and Charlotte has a reputation at school and is popular. She still writes to Joe, who moved away, opened a nursery in California, and is into Greek myths now. That's the Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte
instead
has,
of Catholicism, she's into Greek myths. Her obsessions. Kate still loves swimming, but sometimes her hearing is fuzzy from the accidents. Mm-hmm. And All Dance in the Kitchen as If You Want to Be Happy by Jimmy Soul refrains. Yeah, I like that part too.
I love it too. It went on for a long time, but it didn't bother me. No, it didn't feel too long.
They said they're getting along better, but Kate drags the kiddie pool inside, and you just hear Rachel say, "No,
get that out of here."
And that's Mermaids, and it's just a whirlwind of nothing about movie.
Film. Yes, it's about nothing.
It's
literally
nothing. Like, people credit Seinfeld with that, but I don't know. This had 0 point. We didn't get any further. We didn't get any, you know.
I mean, Rachel got a little further,
I guess.
She
and
got
Charlotte,
a little more settled, and Charlotte is not so crazy.
But dang.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't hate this. I didn't like it. Like, I'm like, meh.
I remember kind of being annoyed. It used to be on TV a lot, like on a Sunday afternoon. The Sunday afternoon movie.
Yep. Where they would put all the crap movies that they had the rights to.
Yeah, and we always put on because there's nothing else on a Sunday. But I remember kind of being annoyed, like, oh, this again. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, like,
I remember like wanting to see that scene with the fish.
With the bedroom. Yeah, the bedroom. Yeah, and her mermaid costume. Yeah. And the part where Kate nearly dies.
Yeah.
I liked that part, but it also scared me. And I remember it would go to so many commercials. Like, it segmented it so much. Yeah. So it'd be like, come back for the conclusion of the Sunday afternoon movie.
Yeah,
like, try
it! But yeah, like, this isn't one that we like watched all the time. Like, it's not like we had this on VHS, but we watched it when it was on TV. And I wonder why. Like, I just wonder why.
I don't know. Mom was like, sure, let's put this on.
I know, but
she doesn't really remember it.
I was gonna say, she was like, she came in when I was watching it. She's like, "What is this?" And I was like,
she's like, "Oh, I've seen this."
Yeah, yeah, you have.
Like, yeah, you have. You showed it to us.
Fun facts. There aren't any.
They're like,
my fun fact is Jake Ryan's in this movie. That's
I'm trying to think. There was something like.
Fun fact: I used to confuse Bob Hoskins and Joe Pesci. When I was a kid.
I see it.
Because I used to only know Joe Pesci from Home Alone.
Yeah, and you saw that like once in a blue moon because you had to wait for that to be on TV. So I get it. I get it.
But other than that,
there's not really too many fun facts. Just like
this was a Cher vehicle. Like that's the only thing I think it was. Like it's like they probably wrote it for her.
There was somebody else that they auditioned. I forget who, but they gave it to Cher instead. Huh. I don't know. I don't remember. It wasn't very fun, apparently.
But it's a weird movie. Like, I'm not... I didn't feel great watching it. Like, I didn't feel...
Yeah, like, I didn't love it, didn't hate it. It was kind of like...
I wasn't really invested in the characters. Like,
no,
I'm like,
yeah. I'm just looking at, like, this is just very odd things happening
I
here.
agree.
It just didn't drive with me.
I agree.
We come from a nuclear family, I guess. We couldn't relate.
Couldn't relate to the craziness. Like, I mean, Mom, Shelly, and I were kind of together a lot. Though.
Yeah.
Like,
So, yeah.
because my dad worked middle. So,
Yeah,
like,
so
and
we
he'd have to work,
related.
like, and then for, like, a while, he would do, like, these long, like, 12-hour shifts that were, like, 4 days on and 7
so, like,
days
the
off.
three of us girls were kind of this
together a lot.
trio,
But I was
like they were.
But I remember thinking, like, this is just, even then, like, getting the feeling that this is just so chaotic.
Yes. Yeah. It's not, it's unsettling.
It's unsettling. Yeah, you don't get it.
You're watching
like,
it.
And it sucks. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people whose home life is like this, and it's just like, it was just odd. Like, it was an odd feeling. Yeah.
How did you ever see this? Are you just watching this? Like, what kind of crazy? And I've never understood why it was called Mermaids. She's in a mermaid costume for like 10 minutes.
She swims. Like, the girl swims.
They make the undersea room. But, like, other than that, why is it called Mermaids?
I have Ariel. I have a whole Ariel shirt, but I couldn't find it. So, there's Ariel. That's my mermaid.
I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But Cher looked beautiful in this movie.
She does. She looked great.
She's very fashionable.
Yeah. 1960s fashion.
I mean,
yep.
Yeah, like, a little... She was hot to trot in the 60s.
She was, yeah. But just...
So, let us know. What do you think about this?
What are your feelings?
Do you feel unsettled?
I feel unsettled. If you look below in this description of this odd video,
calamity of a video,
you will see the links for our social media. We are on Facebook and Instagram at Sisters and Ebert. Please like, follow, subscribe, and come along with us on our social media as well. And we're also obviously on YouTube since you found us here.
Here we are.
Yeah, please like, follow, subscribe, and comment on here
around.
too. Yeah, check out our other videos and hit that notification bell so that you'll know when we post new content and everything. We have little fun stuff sometimes that we post too. So hopefully you'll keep coming on with us, and we'll just set this in the file of why did we watch this? We were way too young.
Yep, here we are.
But I feel like that's a theme for a lot of 90s kids.
That was the 90s, yeah.
If you were born in the 80s and raised in the 90s, that's how it was.
You watch things that you shouldn't.
Because if it was on TV, it was fine.
Free game?
Yeah, free game.
Censored for you.
Yep. But we thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week at the movies.